Hey again, and welcome back. Hope the weekend was a restful one for you, which it was for me. Well, enough of that, and to news first, starting with day 2 and stop number 2 on President Bush's unannounced travels to 2 war zones. Monday, the second day, Mr. Bush traveling from Baghdad to Kabul under a secretive cover. The president stopping first to visit with just a few of the 32,000 Americans serving in uniform in that nation. And later, he was welcomed by Afghan President Hamid Karzai, for whom Mr. Bush had words of reassurance.
Just like you've been able to count on this administration, you'll be able to count on the next administration as well. It's in our interest that Afghanistan's democracy flourish.
Mr. Karzai later presenting Mr. Bush with a medal for service to Afghanistan. This likely the last meeting between the two before Mr. Bush steps from office later in January. Well, at least that's much warmer than the reception Mr. Bush got a day earlier in Baghdad. Wow, nice reflexes. Well, the shoe fling occurring during a Sunday news conference. The flinger, Muntada al-Zaidi, a correspondent with al-Baghdadiya TV. And the flingee, President Bush, was unhurt and unruffled by the rumpus.
It's like going to a political rally and having people yell at you. It's like driving down the street and have people not gesturing with all 5 fingers. It's a way for people to draw, attention. I don't know what the guy's cause is, but one thing is for certain, he caused you to ask me a question about him. I didn't feel the least bit threatened by it.
Yeah, like we said, pretty cool customer. Well, for his part, the now shoeless Mr. al-Zaidi, becoming something of a cause celeb in Iraq, al-Baghdadiya TV, quote, demanding, unquote, Iraqi authorities release their correspondent. And in sectors where the U.S. troops remain unpopular, such as Baghdad's Sadr City here, the shoe incident spurring support for the chucker and renewing protests against Mr. Bush and the government of Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki. Well, for the third time in as many months, Thailand has chosen a new prime minister to lead their nation. And here he is, with congratulations all around. Opposition Democrat Party Apisit Waichachua, 44 years old, Oxford educated, and an economist, and now prime minister. Mr. Apisit squeaking by in the special vote in Parliament, now replacing Somchai Wongsuwat, who was recently ousted by a Thai Supreme Court decision on charges of corruption. Well, no illusions about the task ahead and the continuing anger among many Thai people. Supporters here of the other ousted Prime Minister, Thaksin Shinawatra, making their feelings known outside Parliament about Mr. Apisit. And how? Opponents already rallying to try and recreate the massive protests seen recently against Mr. Somchai. Well, talk about your rapidly changing situation. Well, it's for stories like this and news from around the world that VOA is there, bringing it to you 24 hours a day, nonstop, all online at voanews.com. Okay, maybe it's the economic meltdown. Maybe it's global warming. Maybe invisible leprechauns are whispering in our ears. Whatever's going on out there, we sure do seem to be seeing a lot of it. Rome, for example. People, lots of people, seem to have taken a fancy to the color red. Oh, and white beards. Lots of beards. And running. Lots and lots of running. If you call that running. All while wearing red coats and white beards. Perhaps it's a new exercise craze? Or, maybe it's just crazy. Hey, wait for me. But it's not just the Eternal City. Boston up next. Up and with very little on. Again, now you'll note lots of red. And the funny caps, too, just like last time. And practically nothing else in common. Oh, except the running. Now, we're asking, just what are these people running from? The people who took their clothes, maybe? Well, perhaps Portugal providing the answer. Okay, now that's the guy. Red coat, funny hat, white beard, and a whole lot of imposters. 14,000 of them, in fact, showing up this weekend in the city of Porto. Okay, now look, we know that these are all just Christmas stunts. But play along with us for just a minute. I mean, what if this weren't? I mean, what would you do if these guys were suddenly clogging your streets? What might you think? Well, the download has an answer. Of course we do. Zombies. Santas want brains. The stories confused me, but I got to use all my funny music, so it's sort of a wash. Well, that is your download. Hope to see you again real soon.